Sa video na ito, pag-uusapan natin ang mga dapat tandaan at iwasan ng isang OFW sa pagbili ng lupa. Good morning mga Tangay! Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, my name is Janice at ang aking asawa po ay si Abet. We are retired OFWs and we recently came home for good after 8 to 12 years overseas. So ngayong umaga po, I'm going to share with you the second installment of our 4th-part series called Pabili ng Lupa. It's a foolproof guide for OFWs to owning residential property. Kung hindi niyo pa napanood yung first episode, I'll leave a link down below or dun sa card sa taas. It's all about us sharing our experience when we bought our land as OFWs. No? My partner is not here because he's doing some repair work. We're installing new kitchen cabinets here at our apartment. So, in case you hear some sewing or yung ingay ng nagapukpok, ganyan, sila yun. Isang disclaimer lang po, hindi po kami ahente ng lupa, hindi rin po kami nagbebenta ng lupa. Kami ay mga simpleng OFW lamang na nais naming magbahagi ng aming mga naging karanasan at mga natutunan sa aming mga pagkakamali noong kami ay bumili ng lupa para naman hindi nyo na maulit ito. We'll be sharing some learnings as well from our relatives, our brothers and sisters who bought land and the mistakes that they encountered along the way so that when it's time for you to buy your own, you won't have to go through it. In this video, we'll share with you the red flags. What are the things that you need to look out for? And then what makes an offer a good deal? So, siguro unahin ko na yung mga red flags, no, para mas madali. Kapag nakita ninyo itong mga red flags na to, ting, 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 parang ganyan, no? Pag nakita nyo na, ibig sabihin, i-consider nyo na hindi na siya bilhin. Kasi, mas mahihirapan lang kayo. Ever since naman, ang pangarap ng isang OFW ay makabili ng sarili niyang lupa. I think, majority of OFWs who leave the country have that dream or have that goal, no? Aside from being able to help their families, they also would like to buy their own property, their own land, and build their own house. So, yun yung gusto namin sanang ma-share sa inyo. So, ano ba yung mga red flags? Itong mga red flags na to, ito yung mga warning na medyo alanganin yung lupa na bibilihin nyo. Isa pong mahalagang paalala ito dahil ang pagbili ng lupa ay hindi isang simpleng transaction, na parang online shopping, pag nagustuhan mo, bibilhin mo na. Buying land is it's one of the major adulting processes that we go through as an individual. So, ang mga red flags ay naririto para mas maging mapanuri tayo as OFWs. Mayroong 3 challenges ang isang OFW pagdating sa pagbili ng lupa. Ano-ano ito? Una, presensya. Dahil wala ang OFW sa Pilipinas, mas mahirap bumili ng lupa. Bakit? Kasi hindi mo nakikita, hindi mo pa napuntahan, hindi mo ma-assess talaga kung yung ba talaga yung gusto mong lupa. Pangalawa is presyo. Madalas, limited ang ating budget pambili ng lupa. And kung medyo huli ka na bumili ng lupa, mas mataas na ang presyo ng ating lupang bibilihin. Pangatlo is proseso dahil mas matagal na tayo sa abroad. Madalas, hindi na tayo masyadong pamilyar sa mga proseso ng pagbili ng lupa. But the reason why I call these 3 as challenges is because we can easily overcome them anyway. There are solutions and we will talk about them later on. Now, to tell you more about the red flags, again, these are the things, ito yung mga bagay na dapat nating iwasan. Una sa lahat, yung mga tinatawag nilang encumbrances. If a piece of property has encumbrances, kapag may mga sagabal, mga pahirap, isa ito sa mga i-consider natin na wag natin bilhin. Ano-ano ba to? Hindi malinis ang titulo. Hindi clean title, yung lagi nilang sinasabi. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng hindi clean title? Ang lupa na ito ay maaaring naisangla, maaaring ginamit na collateral sa pagkuha ng loan or nagkaroon siya ng parte siya ng isang kaso, na-involve siya sa isang kaso. So, tinatawag siyang hindi siya clean title dahil pag tiningnan mo ang titulo sa likod, meron siyang annotation na nakalagay. I'll give you an example of what a clean title looks like. So, andun siya sa likod, wala siyang mga nakasulat doon or annotation. Dahil kapag ka naisangla ito o ginamit na collateral, may mga nakalagay na annotation dito sa likod. Pangalawa, claims and conflicts. Madalas, ito ang nagpapakomplikado ng proseso ng pagbili ng lupa. Kapag ka merong claims and conflicts ang isang lupa, I would personally rather not buy it. Why? Because it will be complicated. Ano ba itong mga claims na ito? Kapag ka maraming nagki-claim as owner ng lupa na yon, and kapag ka, let's say, yung mga heirs, yung mga tagapagmana ay kino-contest nila yung lupa na yon, kung paano yung pagkakahati, kanino napunta, and all that. So, paano ba natin malalaman kung merong claims and conflicts? The first place that we have to go to is the barangay. Kasi sa kanila naman unang lalapit. So, itatanong natin kung meron pa bang mga other claimants, may iba bang nagsasabi na sila ang may-ari, pinag-aagawan ba siya, and all that. Isa pa sa mga red flags ay kung ang isang property ay walang nakaspecify na right of way sa subdivision plan. So, ang pinakamahirap yung kung ang bibilhin mong lupa nasa bandang likod tapos walang nakaspecify na right of way, Hindi pwede na sasabihin sa iyo ng may-ari na sige, papadaanin na lang kita. Okay lang yan. Hindi pwedeng ganun kasi that's just verbal. Wala kayong assurance na what if magbago ang sitwasyon later on. It has to be part of what you're buying. Part of the negotiation is bigyan ka na nila agad ng right of way na kasama sa hati ng lupa. That's part of the transaction that cannot be an afterthought. Hindi pwedeng saka na lang pagdedesisyonan after the fact. Kailangan ma-specify yan agad sa pagkakahati at sa subdivision plan. Pangatlo, access road. Kung ang access road ba dito ay pagmamay-ari ng barangay o private pa. Bakit problema kapag private pa? Kapag private pa, in case mag-decide yung may-ari na ayaw niya nang magpadaan, paano kayo makakapasok? So, ensure that the property you're buying has an access that is public or pagmamay-ari ng barangay. Next on the list is unclear installment terms. Now, bakit ko to sinama? Madalas, preferred natin na bumili ng lupa na hulugan kung wala tayong cash. Ang problema rito ay kapag hindi clear ang terms ninyo ng pagbayad. So, dapat sa umpisa pa lang na pagdesisyonan nyo na let's say 4 years to pay. Before I give my last 2 payments, kailangan umuusad na or last payment, umuusad na yung papeles ko na ito na ay ipapatransfer sa pangalan ko. It has to be agreed upon between the two of you and it has to be on paper. Bakit? Kasi ako, personal experience ko with my sister is she bought a land here in Puerto Princesa. Kami pa nga mismong mag-asawa yung nag-check ng papeles, nag-check kung malinis ba. We went to the Registry of Deeds and all that. But after niya matapos bayaran, 5 years ago, imagine, 5 years ago niya pa natapos bayaran. Until now, hindi pa rin natatransfer yung titulo sa kanya. Paulit-ulit na naming binalikan yung may-ari, tinatawagan, hindi na makontak kung sino-sino na ang ginambala namin for this. Until now, hindi namin ma-resolve. So, it's really important that the terms are clear and that ikaw mismo as a buyer, alam mo kung kailan babalikan ang owner. So, kung hindi mo naman kayang balikan, might as well just buy it in cash. Next on the list is minamadali ka ng owner. Kapag minamadali ka ng owner na nagpapadown na siya, hindi mo pa nga nakikita yung lupa, hindi mo pa nga na-check sa Registry of Deeds, parang ang sinasabi niya lang, maganda yung deal na to, bilhin mo na, mag-down ka. And then, yung down payment na hinihingi niya sa'yo ay non-refundable, mag-isip-isip ka na. Every time you're being forced, this is in any situation, my advice to you, anytime you are being forced by someone to pay upfront, and then hindi mo pa nagagawa yung sarili mong due diligence, no? Hindi ka pa nga nakakapag-check, may agam-agam ka pa, don't. Wag po tayong magpapapressure, no? Kasi malaking halaga ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. And we can apply that principle in any aspect of our life as well. If ever we face a situation wherein someone is forcing us to pay upfront and our heart is not settled yet, we still need time to think about it, to process things, and the person is pressuring us to do it. Sasabihin na, last day na kasi ito ng promo and all that, then don't. It's not worth it. Okay? The last red flag on the list is don't buy property that you cannot locate. Buying property needs legwork. You need to physically visit the area. You need to be able to locate where it is. Hindi siya parang online shopping na pag nakita mo lang, nagsascroll ka lang, nagustuhan mo, bibilhin mo na. Hindi ganon ang pagbili ng lupa. Ang pagbili ng lupa, kailangan pupuntahan mo, yun ba talaga yung lupang sinasabi sa titulo? Yun ba talaga yung muhon? Andito ba talaga yung lugar na sinespecify, siya ba talaga yung may-ari? So when you meet the owner, ask for valid IDs to prove that he's really the owner. I-check mo rin, ito yung magandang gagawin sa titulo, You don't just rely on the document itself. Kasi meron akong narinig na discussion before. Paano ba daw make sure na original or legit yung title? Kapag bibili po tayo ng lupa, hindi tayo magre-rely sa sinasabi lang na clean title. Hindi pwedeng yun lang. You get the document. Syempre, usually, ang binibigay lang muna is copies of the title, and then mga photocopies lang, no? You don't rely on that. What you do is you get a TCT number, and then you go to the Registry of Deeds, and then verify and check if this land indeed belongs to this person. At i-check mo yung iba pang records kung doon mo na i-check, no? May mga annotation ba sa likod and all that. Now, it's very important for you to check. Why? Because mahirap yung binili mo na and then at the bandang huli pala, may problema. Kasi napaka-komplikado pa ng proseso. Yun yung mga dapat yung iwasan. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list. You can talk to your family as well, kapag bibili kayo ng lupa, kasi especially if you're buying land in a place where you come from. Like in our case, in Palawan. So, we are from Palawan, so we bought land here in Palawan. If those are the red flags, ano naman yung mga bagay na dapat kong tandaan? Now, what makes an offer a good deal? Una sa lahat, ang lagi lang tinitingnan ng mga tao is yung location. Kapag maganda yung location, bilhin mo. But at the moment, if you're looking for residential property in a developed area, mahirap nang makabili ng lupa na kaya ng budget doon sa city center. Lalo na ngayon na nagde-develop na talaga naman ng buong Pilipinas, mahirap na bumili ng lupa sa sentro kung limited ang budget mo. Kung marami kang pera, go ahead kung kaya mo naman, Pero sa atin na limitado lang yung budget, ang pipiliin na lang natin ay yung mga areas na merong potential for development. So you go where development goes. In our case, for example, I'll give you an example, in Puerto Princesa, Palawan, development now, kasi masyado ng densely populated yung city center. So the development now is going north and south. So in our case, we bought our property, yung isang property nasa medyo city center, by the grace of God. Yung isa naman, dun na papuntang north. And by the grace of God, yung development naman naando na. So, dun ka bibili ng lupa, dun sa malapit dun sa area na nade-develop. Tingnan mo kung ano yung plano ng city. Magtatayo ba dyan ng bagong kalsada, bagong tulay, bagong metro, ano ba tawag dito? MRT. No, yung sa area na yon, syempre sa Metro Manila, imposible na, napakamahal na talaga doon. Pero in our case, let's say, sa mga probinsya, you go where the development goes. Kung hindi mo man kaya yung budget, wala kang budget dun sa medyo mas mahal na area, dun ka dun sa surrounding areas. Bakit? Kasi mag-overflow, darating ang panahon na magde-develop din yung areas na yon. And by the time na na-develop na yung area, nabili mo na siya sa mas murang halaga. Pangalawa, presyo. Kapag ang presyo ay maganda ang deal na naibigay sa'yo, syempre, good deal yon. In our case, that the properties that we bought were both on distress sale, meaning to say, the owners needed money, that's why they sold the property to us. Mas maganda kung ang mabili mo distress sale kasi talaga namang medyo mas mababa ang halaga. Bakit? Kasi kinakailangan ng owner ng ready cash, kaya magbabayad ka. But the thing is, kapag ganun ang terms naman, cash naman yon. So, it depends pa rin naman talaga sa sitwasyon, sa budget mo, at saka sa pangangailangan ng owner. Paano ba natin masasabi na maganda ang presyo ng nabili nating lupa? Titingnan mo yung market value within the area. Siyempre, merong zonal value ang BIR, pero sa pagbili ng lupa, ang tinitingnan natin is market value. So, titingnan mo, pagka nasa mas malapit siya sa highway, mas mahal, syempre, lalo na kung commercial area yung highway, and then kapag papasok ng papasok, medyo mas bumababa yung presyo, So, kapag ikaw ay nakabili ng lupa sa medyo bungad pa, sa mas mababang halaga kumpara doon sa pinaka nasa unahan, magandang deal na yon. Napakahirap na bumili ngayon ng murang lupa, pero I would suggest that you buy now than later. Kasi kapag ipagpabukas mo pa ng ipagpabukas, chances are mas mahal at mas mataas na rin talaga ang presyo nito. But if you don't have the cash now, siguro ang mas maganda is pag-ipunan mo, pagtabihan mo, or kung meron kang kapamilya na maaaring magtumulong sa'yo, why not, di ba? Kapamilya o bangko? Either. Titingnan mo rin yung may-ari. Just like what I said earlier, the owner is a big factor. What you should do is you should talk to real estate agents and have them describe this owner kung meron na ba silang dealings with this owner. Kung wala pa, ask around. Usually naman, if you're buying property from an area, madalas magkakakilala rin naman sila. Buying land it's all up to you, Kayo pa rin naman talaga ang titingin kung ano ba yung gusto nyong lupa na pagtuyaan ng bahay nyo. Ang pinakamaganda pa rin talaga ay, una sa lahat ay tahimik, secure, Tahimik sa lugar, mapayapa, walang kahit na anong gulo. Yun yung mga must-haves na tinitingnan namin. Pero pag pumunta ka, wala siyang kahit na anong masamang amoy o yung mga hazardous chemicals, We have some questions from Mikael and Lizzie all the way from Sweden. Thank you very much for your support, Talagang patuloy sila na nagsusuporta sa atin. And their questions are, first, is it possible to buy land even when we are abroad? Yes, it's possible. All you need to do is to issue a special power of attorney. If you have a relative or a friend or a family member in that area, then you can authorize that person to represent you in buying the land. That person, my suggestion is, when that person visits the area, i-video niya from the time na manggagaling siya kung saan man siya manggagaling hanggang sa papunta dun sa lugar, That person will serve as your eyes and ears when you're buying the land. So, i-video niya, i-describe niya sa inyo ano yung experience, papunta doon, matagal ba ang biyahe, mahirap bang mapuntahan, malubak ba ang kalsada, magulo ba, pagdating niya doon, maayos ba yung lugar. Your representative will have to do the legwork for you. Second question, what is the best way to buy land? Through an agent or direct? The best way to buy land is to buy it directly from the owner. But in this case, if you are not from the area, then chances are you are not very familiar with how things are going there and with people who are selling. So, in that case, you will have to go through a broker or through an agent, mas madalas kasi mas alam din naman nila yung mga lugar kung saan ibibenta, mas direkta sila sa owner. So, I have full respect for the profession, yung mga agents. We got our first property from an agent who happens to be our cousin din naman. So, madalas mas mag-guide nila kayo. Siyempre, merong extra cost, Nasa usapan nyo na yan ng owner kung sa babayaran nyo ba, ibabawas na lang doon yung commission ng agent or hindi. Usually ganon. Babayad na lang kayo and then yung owner na yung bahala dun sa the rest of the payments that are needed to be done. How is the price of the land in this pandemic? Clarify ko lang po, hindi po bumaba ang presyo ng lupa dahil sa pandemic. It's not like the stock market or, it's not like the stock market na bumaba kaya yung presyo depending on the market situation. No, it's not. The price of land is steady. Nagbumababa lang, depende sa owner. So, let's say yung owner, gusto niya nang ibenta yung lupa niya and he needs cash immediately. Then, option niya yun na pababain yung lupa or ipadaliin yung terms para sa mga bibili para mas madaling mabenta yung lupa. But just because we have the pandemic right now doesn't mean na bababa yung presyo ng lupa. Okay po? So, ang maganda lang dito dahil pandemic, kailangan ng tao, ng pera. So, if you have the cash, then it's easier for you to buy the land. What and where is the best way to find land? Based on our experience po, ay referrals. Referrals talaga yung best way to find land. Kasi online, hindi mo naman alam kung kung sinong agent yung nagpo-post ng mga post online. Although, that will give you leads. If you're not from that area, online is a good choice. But it's still better to get referrals kasi they know better. In our case, puro referrals po yung aming nabili. Pero, let's say may nakausap ka na isang agent, no, at ito ay isang trusted agent, pwede silang magbigay sa inyo ng options. So, those are Mickey's and Lizzie's questions and I hope that I answered them. If ever you still have questions, please drop them at the comment section below. And I hope that we were able to give value to you kung meron man kayong kinoconsider na bilihing lupa ngayon. Next week po, ang ating video will talk about the step-by-step guide in buying land. Ano ba yung mga dapat gawin? Ano yung unang gagawin hanggang up to the last portion, ano yung dapat natin gawin para makabili tayo ng lupa as OFWs. So, if you like this video, I hope you would click the like button and then subscribe. Mag-subscribe na rin po kayo dahil marami pa po tayong series na hinahanda para sa ating channel. And I hope that you would invite your OFW friends to subscribe as well because we're doing this for you. Again, thank you very much and see you in the next video.